Hello, hello, everyone. It is Kenyon here. It is Basketball Rewind. I am here joined by Beyond, Coach Roach. Everyone's here. Everyone's happy. We're not so happy to talk about the Raptors, but we will talk about the Raptors because we are going to suffer through the rest of the season with you. So, with that being said, enjoy the show. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. First of all, we're going to talk about the fact that, you know, you look at the schedule, there's maybe not the highest potential for winning. How many wins can we get? Roll the dice. Probably not six, but you look at the amount that we could get, and we're gonna, say, guess how many wins they get. The second thing that we're gonna talk about is currently they are, I believe, sixth for lottery odds. We're going to talk about the chances of them moving up, staying the same, or whatever, best case, worst case, etc., etc. Finally, we're going to end off this discussion as we move into draft season, talking about the fact that the G League Ignite is gone as of next year. Thank you, Adam Silver. So that has some interesting implications for the 2025 draft. There's some fun topics to talk about. Hopefully all of you are enjoying the draft content. I know the numbers are down, partially because Raptors numbers are down. So, but keep coming back, keep liking, comment, subscribing, and stay tuned because I'm going to be here until one day I'm not. So we'll go from there. And I don't mean that in a morbid way, people. So, first things first, the potential wins. We're on a losing streak. I'm not going to say how many games, but it's not good. No bueno.
And
There you go. I was trying to,
no. We won't sugarcoat it. No, let's not sugarcoat it.
But I thought if I don't sugarcoat it, I'm not a Raptors fan. That's what I was told.
No. There's a particular group, a
gotcha.
particular part of this fandom that wanted this. So let's give them what they want.
Yeah, hey man,
That's all I said.
got to give them what they need. It's a good song, by the way.
Yeah.
Good song.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sing it because it might, I might get a copyright strike.
You're right. Jim will help you over.
Absolutely. You can't afford that because we're not even monetized. So that's why, again, people like, comment, subscribe. So with that being said, potential wins for the end of the season. I think the easiest way to kind of go over this is to kind of quickly take a look at the schedule. I know that we face the Wizards one more time. I think we face the Nets one more time. So we're just going to talk about potential wins that might happen. We also face the Heat twice at the end of the season. So you know what? I'm going to just name some random games. And you guys tell me your thoughts on us being able to beat them. Can we beat the Nets one of the next two times that we beat them or play them?
We should, but I think it's too early.
Coach says loss, including the very end of the season.
Yeah, man. I told you how bad the talent is on this team because we lost the Nets last time in double figures, and the Nets are even trying to win games. I never seen a team. They're looking to go to Cancun or anywhere else that's hot. They are done. And they still whooped us by double figures. So, I don't know how I'm expecting to see wins against and I'm sure one of those games are in Brooklyn. I don't see it happening.
Well, I guess we should have re-signed the Kawhi clone, apparently, according to Raptors Lad, but that would have made a difference. Moving along. We just faced them. Can we beat the Wizards?
Is there even a point to
this conversation?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, nothing much to conversation.
That's all, folks.
But I just think it's abundantly clear now what they're trying to do.
Well,
who knows? I still don't know.
I don't think they really know, honestly. I don't think they know. I don't think they know. I think you give them
scary if they don't.
No, yeah, I think Coach, you give them way too much credit. I don't think they know what they're doing.
People always ask me a question that I don't ever answer, except on Basketball Rewind, because I'm like, man, I just don't have the time for this conversation. But they're like, do you really think that a front office can be incompetent? And I'm just like, Moving on.
Moving on. Let me count the ways.
It's like,
Anytime I hear
but I just
someone
don't
say
want to
that-
get into that argument where it's just like,
And-
well, let me tell you a time when it's just like,
Exactly, because that is the point. Because anytime you see someone broach you with that question, it just tells me how young they've been in their Raptors journey. Let's put it that way.
well, some of them have been old in the Raptors journey. They just drink a lot of the Kool-Aid.
Wow, they really are drinking a lot of that Kool-Aid, man. Because they must have forgotten all about the '90s. Because I remember those quite well.
Yes.
In early 2000s. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
In the early 2010s, how bad it was.
Ain't that great either. Yeah.
In general, a front office can both make good moves and then also later on make bad moves. And, maybe front offices have times when they're good and bad. We will continue on, though, with the potential win. So not the Wizards. Okay, so can we beat the Pacers as they, this is the fourth last game of the season?
No.
Will they rest against us? Okay, all right, it's an L. The Heat, 2 games in a row to end the season.
Jimmy Butler's actually going to start playing now, so no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, so is there any win for the rest of the season?
They
I honestly don't know.
hope that the Wizards actually decided to put their starting lineup on the bench.
So the over-under set at 1. Are you punching the over or are you punching the under?
The under, actually. The under.
Okay.
I must admit, part of me is actually kind of doing this with a bit of a wry smile, because as a Pistons fan, heard a lot of people push up their chest this year. Making a lot of fun about my beloved Pistons.
They still are.
If they are, hey, my friends, y'all catch up that count real fast. That's all I've got to say. And based on the schedule coming up at the end of the season, if everything goes according to plan, that's 17 straight losses. And I don't know if they roll over to the next season, which I think we do. And believe me, you better start looking at that schedule for next year. Because boy, oh boy, if you go 0-5, my friends, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
And we know the Raptors always struggle with their home day season opener, typically. But we will see. So
they won it this year, oddly enough. They beat Minnesota first game of the year.
I know.
They did.
Probably one of their best wins all year.
True. What a time to live. So right now we're in the sixth best odds, and yeah, it's looking interesting, is what I'll say. We aren't likely going to finish with the 5th best odds. So let's say it's probably going to be the 6th best odds. There's a chance that we finish in the 7th if by some miraculous nature we end up winning more than 2 games or even 1 to end the season. Actually, yeah, we'd have to win 2 games. So that puts us at having a 9% chance at getting the number 1 overall pick, and overall within that top 4, it's a 37.2% chance. So you round down 37% chance of moving into the top 4 in total. That's 1 through 4. There is approximately, it's actually under, but I'll just say a 9% chance of remaining at the 6th pick. So if you add it all up approximately with the actual probabilities, it's around a 45% chance of keeping the pick, and there's a 55% chance of losing the pick. In other words, for those of you who are not that good at math or arithmetic, there is a higher chance of losing the pick, no matter what.
That would be great. Even without confidence, that would be great. But
you might get to the lottery day, and you might still be disappointed or happy as a Raptor fan.
Like, Kenyon, that's assuming we win 2 games, right?
No, that's assuming that we just stay where we are.
6th spot. Okay.
If we win 2 games, then it's different, because then we have a slightly less chance, and then it goes to about 60% chance that we lose.
I tell you something right now, Raptor fans, man, you guys should be so happy that Memphis decided to put Ja Morant on the shelf. I tell you, right now, you all should be just loving business. That is the only thing that might save your season. All right, Raptor,
yes.
Save us from this embarrassment that we have in incompetence.
Well, what's interesting is you and I think, are definitely in the minority, because a lot of Raptors fans seem to want to keep the pick this year. And by the way, I don't mind keeping the pick. It's not like the absolute worst thing in the world. It's just, again, I want to pick next year, and I want to make sure that we have a pick next year. And the best way to do that is if we could pay a pick this year. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, it's just good to have your assets back too moving forward. Like I've been in the same camp as you guys. Like let's try to get rid of this pick, but a top 5 or 6 pick in any draft is still worth something, especially for a team like us who really depends on the draft and development. Because we're not getting any free agents. That's the issue with this as well.
Well, no, we're getting, apparently we're getting
That Indiana pick, you're going to get a rotational piece. I
Well,
think.
here's the thing too. I just on the fact about the losing streak and stuff like that. The other thing that comes the other way is that the Raptors veterans are soon going to not be playing. Mysteriously have ailments, right? So like Bruce Brown, who they probably want to trade in the summer, they don't want him to get hurt. He's all of a sudden going to come down with a sickness, a cold, whatever the case may be. He won't be playing soon. We're already seeing certain murmurs of Gary Trent. Well, he might not be playing tonight. You have to play against Washington. Trust me, as we get later in this season, we're going to see a lot of Gary Trent AWOL in this case for whatever reason.
DNP prepping for Caravana.
Right. Unless Gary's got something in his contract for contractual reasons for incentives to reach a certain percentage.
No, that's done.
That's the
only
you
ain't making it.
Yeah, Gary, they're going to be like, we good. So all of that in this case is going to start happening too on the Raptor side. As far as this goes, I slightly disagree with my honorable friend here, Coach.
And just so you know, Pirtle has a clause in his contract, but it has to do with making the playoffs. And
good luck, buddy. That ain't happening. He could be he
got snookered
already. He's on that Mai Tai. He's on that 4th Mai Tai right now, man.
He hasn't been on the bench at all, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like
I did see him 2 games ago in a sweater, so there was that.
Okay,
so.
welcome. There was a sighting.
Yes.
I'll say it this way, and I don't want to spend much time on these jokers anyhow. What's all said and done, all top 5 drafts are not equal in this case here. So I agree with Coach in theory and principle, but the circumstances we have here, top 5 pick is not as helpful as people think it is. Because we need a dude if I want to get basic with it. And top 5 pick in this draft, there's not really any dudes on this draft. There's one that we might talk about later that might be a dude. But I don't think we can get him because it'll be a fluke. But the rest of them, sorry guys, man. I know a lot of you all here now kind of for the first time seeing some of these dudes in this case here. And I don't know if you've been watching the college games. Some of the folks will be top 10 picks. They have not gone out with a blaze of glory. Let's put it that way. Quite a few of them.
Yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying as well. Like, if next year's draft, let's just say next year's draft would be even worse than this year's draft, then that would be different, right? It's like, okay, a top 5 or 6 pick in this draft is definitely worth more. But because a top 5 pick in next year's draft, when you got Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey and the other kid going to Duke from I think he's from Africa. I can't think of his name right now. Like, there's so much more high-end talent.
I know what you're talking about. I think, yeah.
So,
I was also going to add that people are framing it in the wrong way. They're like, would you rather have a top 6 pick this year or like a top 15 pick next year? And I'm like, we're not going to be top 15. Like,
no, we're not bad next year.
Yeah, like we're not going to be like suddenly. Like, people are talking like 15 wins better. I don't know how you're making 15 wins better when you don't really have the money without, like, let's put it this way. You would have to renounce all your remaining free agents potentially to get up to, like, how people say the $45 million, $50 million cap room. So, okay, goodbye quickly, right? That doesn't make any sense. Realistically, you have around $20 million, and I don't know if we're going to be getting the top tier free agents for $20 million.
Yeah, well, this fan base, man, and I don't know. It's more about this fan base. I listen to other fan bases and some that I'm kind of part of as well too. But this particular fan base, they grab onto hope like no other fan base I see. And one of the things I wish happened.
We call it copium.
Okay, there's the scientific term for the medical term, yeah. And it's like no other. There's no other.
I made that term up, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah. All right, my apologies. It's coming from the lexicon of Kenyon. My point is like I wish in this case here, and for various reasons, I wish it was the case actually on a much more serious note from the Barrett family standpoint, and God bless them and their family and what they're going through. That it
Absolutely.
didn't come to this. That I was hoping in this case that Barrett would be able to play, and on the bigger front, hoping that Scotty would be able to play because if these losses were piling up with them playing, then we would get a true sense, and we wouldn't have all these folks out there in the wilderness thinking like, oh, well, next year we'll win 10 more
Yeah, like
games.
based on a 3 game sample size that like we're good.
Right, we're good, right? When it's like, no, guys, you're not good, and we would get the true sense and assessment of this team, because now everyone's holding on and hope like, oh no, RJ or Sky's gonna put the cape on next year, and we're good for the extra 15 games or 10 games. Like, no, dude, who are you all watching? But we never got that. So there's gonna be all these truthers out here pretty much thinking like, oh no, trust me, we're a really good team once they're healthy. Like, no, dude, you still stink. Okay.
What is the meme where it's like it's the Woody doll holding the guy back saying, "Hold on, let him cook." That's what a lot of Raptors fans are saying right now.
Pretty
Hold on,
much,
let
yeah.
Masai cook. He's gonna
Right,
cook
yeah.
up something. He's gonna do some miraculous trade, and I'm like, okay, I heard people saying Trae Young. Okay, first of all, no, thank you, please, no, please, no. Okay, we don't have the defensive squad necessary to handle Trae Young on this team. Number two, with Trae Young. Okay, and to be fair, I'm not the biggest Trae Young fan, but I will say this: just no. Okay, we don't have the assets for Trae Young. Okay,
It's true.
if I am Atlanta, I want my picks back, and I'm gonna go flip Trae Young to go play with Wemby because they have half of my picks for the next whatever.
Yep.
Plus other picks.
Yep.
We can't beat that.
Yeah.
And I like
What are we
Trae
going to
Young,
do?
actually.
Trade? Are we going to trade Bruce Brown?
Well, I want to hear, Coach. You like the Trae Young
No,
idea?
no. I like Trae Young player, not for this team, not for the
Oh, I agree
Raptors.
with
He would
that.
be a terrible fit because
Yeah.
he plays as much defense as I do. Right.
That said, though, he's a great orchestrator of the offense, and
Yes.
that's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that this team would
Absolutely.
sorely need. But like,
Yeah.
as Katie said, we don't have the wherewithal.
We do not have the capacity.
For this, man.
Oh man, my meme game's on point today.
I got a meme too in this case here. I think it's more like the dog just sipping the coffee as the fire's all around them. But hey,
yes,
yes.
yes.
What it is right now.
So, I mean, with that being said, what is your best and worst case scenario for what could happen with this draft, for you guys?
I think ideally get back your assets, but here's the thing. Let's just say you lose the pick. Everybody wants one. I think this is a draft. You could take that Indiana pick and that 31st pick. You can move up probably to the top 10 if you're willing to package both of them. If there's someone there that you like, and I keep seeing it on the Raptor videos that they keep showing. Masai really wanted Giannis. He almost had a deal in place to get him. Masai really wanted Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He almost had a deal in place. Forget it. If you have a guy, go get him. Whatever you're going to do. If there's a guy that you're particularly focused on, because it sounds like you were really focused on those two, and those two hit. Those are two MVP caliber players. So whoever the guy is, if you think that guy is what you think he's going to be moving forward, go get him.
And is that your worst case, or sorry, like just to go back, your worst case is that we just stand pat and you don't combine the two picks, I guess, Coach.
I don't know if I have a worst case. Like even if we stay at 15 to 17 and keep that 32nd pick or 30, I'm fine. I just think the best case would be if we lose the pick, trade up to the top 10 if you like someone, if you can. Why not? Add a guy who is a top 10 talent.
So in terms of what they could do, I agree. If you retain your pick, I guess go move up and get if there's someone that they want, or if they can get two guys in the top 10. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that like they have to, but I'm not against that because I do think that there's enough there to help you in the long-term future. Again, I know I sound really pessimistic about the Raptors, but there are things that they can do to improve their situation for the long term. I'm focused on the long term. I want them to, win championships, not one. We already have one. So from that standpoint, that's fine. But beyond, what's your worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario, they end up with 3 picks in this draft. That's the worst case scenario.
I have one that's worse than that even.
There is a possibility of some other possibilities, but if I'm just thinking what's the most immediate likelihood, that's what it is at this point. And the other thing too is that little bit the coach's point, I keep asking this question: what's the value of a 2024 draft pick? Because I don't know who wants 2 draft picks in this draft.
Well, you're hitting on what my worst case could be.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Bruce Brown. What if Bruce Brown gets you a 2024 first round pick that they said that they didn't want from New York?
Oh gosh, help me.
That where you're bringing in 4
Oh
rookies on this type of squad.
Not going to happen. Not going to bring.
You're
They're not
going to
bring
give me an
three.
ulcer, right? You know that. Right? You're going to give me an ulcer. I'm going to have to get some warm milk in a second, man. Holy.
So that's all I'm saying. That could be the worst thing. I think when it comes down to it, in terms of the Bruce Brown situation, I hope that it is, I have nothing wrong with, Bruce Brown as an individual. I don't think he fits on this team right now. And so long term, I think if they end up flipping Bruce Brown for something that's a little bit, even if it's a second rounder for next year, I think if it really came down to it, I think that they can at least get a second rounder.
You know who I think also agrees with you in this case, Kenyon?
Mm.
Bruce Brown. Because Bruce
Oh
Brown
yeah.
is going to be out the door too.
True. That is very true. That is very
And then
true.
hit the backdrop. Wait, I'm going to be here. Oops, my bad. No, I
I
love
just
it.
I just think it would be such a disappointment to end up waiving him to hope that we can suddenly in this year with this team be a free agent, marquee free agent destination for really
Right.
anyone.
That's
I'd say
Jakob
my
Trent's
best
the trade
case
that keeps.
scenario.
No, go ahead. What's the best case scenario?
Well, funny thing is, this could happen to us. We get the number 1 pick. We move
Yes.
right up. And I
There you
think that would be your best case
go.
scenario. And then you might be able to trade those other 2 picks and get a guy or 2 who can come in and contribute. It's probably in your rotation. It's like getting a version of Olenek and Ochai, but with those 2 picks, I think definitely that 15 to 17 pick, you're looking better. You're
See,
looking for someone else who's better.
I think those 2 picks are more likely to get moved because the other one's not guaranteed, and to your point,
Yeah.
the other one's later in the draft, so it's less money. I think those
Cheap.
are, yeah,
There you
those
go.
2 you might be able to move. If you're trying to trade wherever the top 6 pick and it's not the number 1 pick overall, and wherever the 15, 16 pick, I don't think that's cutting it. I don't think anyone wants that on their ledger. But that option, that's a more possible, feasible option, I think. And you're right, the number 1 pick overall. We'll get into that, I'm sure, a little later on. But
Good segue,
Absolutely.
maybe.
Absolutely. And we,
I
you know,
wasn't
and
the only thing I've seen has been hopeful. Mind the pun. The last few weeks, like,
and
oh,
we will get into it. Don't worry. We
I was
will
pleasantly
publish that
surprised,
soon.
man.
It, I like them too, but we'll keep the audience posted on that. But since we're talking about picks and all that kind of stuff, to just transition to the last segment, the G League. The G League is going to be shutting down. This is the last year of the G League Ignite specifically. The G League itself will remain open, of course. Um, you know, what are your thoughts? We might have to broach the subject again at some point as well.
I know. I mean, coach, you want to go? You're a coach and development guy, so you take the first crack at this.
Uh, I mean, I think the G League has done a fairly good job at producing NBA caliber talent, especially the last few years. Your Jalen Greens, your Scoot Hendersons. I know there's more Leonard Millers, who I'm sure is going to be pretty good in time. I think it's done a fairly good job at giving these high prospects more notoriety. But at the same time, I think what is their record? I think our
Six and
our
40,
guy Reset over the last 3 years, 6-40 or 2 years. Like
something like that.
that's bad. So it sounds like a lot of the guys that they're bringing in for the G League, quite frankly, they're just not ready yet in some capacity, like from a collective standpoint. Not so much, you're not saying that individually they're not, but it just seems like, they're like a bad expansion team that's just like, nope, we're staying away from rural. It's like, like kind of what happened to no offense, Canyon, Vancouver at one time. Like they were bad for quite a few years. There's like we can't do this anymore. That's why I'm kind of getting those vibes a little bit from this G League stuff. But I know one thing who's really happy right now, or I would be if I was them, the NCAA.
Yep.
Imagine in
Yeah,
this tournament watching Ron Holland and Busilis right now, and Tyler Smith.
Yeah. I think that is the big winner. That's the big winner. I'm of the mindset, and I think in principle, I think I'm still in the same mindset that I think NBA coaching is still better for these young guys than what they're getting in college. Because a lot of times when these guys come out in college, like you're literally starting from you're not even starting from scratch. You got to pretty much deprogram for all the crap they learned in college. They can get them to up to NBA speed. So I really have wondered a little bit how some of the college programs have been doing things lately in the last like 10, 15 years, where it's like, guys, are you actually, I get it that you're developing for your program, but like you could expand the idea of how you actually run your team a little bit by actually implementing, like bring it along to the modern age, right? So for example, you take college football. College football had a lot of innovation that to the point where the NFL said, like, yo, these are some things you better put in our playbooks as well, too. So therefore, the two in this case coalesce that when a guy now runs plays, in this case, out with a pistol, or in this case, a shotgun for folks who are football fans, those plays are being run there in this case here. There are plays that will be played in the pros because now the two leagues are now kind of merged with the same mindset. So for some reason in basketball, we have the NBA kind of going in like 2030 or 2045 from the futuristic mindset. And the NBA college basketball has gone back like it's 1950 and Hoosiers. I don't understand how that has happened. I think part of it is due to the lack of talent, but I think also too to the control freaks of these coaches that they just can't get out of their own way half the time. And I think that's one of the things that I mean, I get it from a pure standpoint, as coach said, hey, star players coming back into college basketball, it will help. Because right now, quite honestly, the biggest star players in college basketball right now, they're on the women's ledger. They're not on the men's side, guys. There is nobody walking down the street and knows any person that's a men's player right now in college basketball right now. Nobody. And I'll say this right now, I've watched college ball all my life. This is the only period in the last 4 or 5 years, I say last 3 years, I can actually say that without any equivocation. You could go down the street in 1991, and I could see kids in this case wearing a blue and gold jersey of number 4 or number 5, and they knew exactly who that was, and the parents knew who that person was. I could go down there, and all the Duke fans in this case, the blue and white, knew number 32, and in this case here, Grant Hill's jersey, wherever the case we. I keep going back up, even up to the list a few years ago, Zion Williamson, I could say so. There is that, which is probably the last dude that was a dude. When in this case, you might see a jersey walking on the street. There is nobody in this thing right now, and it's killing. All these things are killing college basketball. It's sad to say. I like college basketball a lot, but between them getting in their own way, the NIL, the lack of changing the rules to make it much more of a product that you want to watch and enjoy. I mean, good Lord, I could take about 10 bathroom breaks and still be about this, still be within the first 5 minutes of the game. How many TV timeouts do you need? Like all these things are stuff that's like not helping the game, and they keep going backwards. So this, from that standpoint, is a good idea. I feel a bit sorry for the players because I'm not sure what type of coaching they're going to get that's going to be helpful for them to get to the next level, and that's going to be something that's going to be harmful to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I notice is that they are trying in theory to make these guys better, but I don't know if they're challenging them in the same way that they would be challenged in the college system. So the G League is the Ignite, that is, was set up always to be kind of almost like the OTE, where it's kind of like a showcase. It didn't do a great job of showcasing the kids this past year. Of course, ironically, a couple of them are still going to get drafted and still in the top whatever. I do think that the ones that end up making it, I think that they've done pretty well at having some sort of level of staying power. Kuminga, Green, City Sissoko is, has had moments here and there at San Antonio. There's a couple different guys throughout. I don't think that it was quite what they wanted it to be. And we'll see if some sort of iteration of it pops up. I'm curious how the OTE kind of still thrives. I think because they have the Amazon money, they might actually have a bigger reason to thrive as just a competitor to college.
Well, this is interesting because it brings up a much more philosophical question when it comes to sports. Like, is it really sport if there's no stakes in it?
No, probably not in the same way.
Or you're just getting exercise.
cardio. I mean, this is kind of the thing that we were talking about or the other day on Spaces. Shout out to Nelly Space, of course, where someone had asked, is the NBA really entertainment? And it's like, yeah, it is.
Welcome to the club, guys. Yeah, it is.
It's. So Santa Claus also isn't real, that kind of thing. But
my 8-year-old's still around. So.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, he is.
Holding on right now.
Hey, some of us did, but
wait for summer vacation.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, we will see what happens. You hope that there's not less opportunities for people to prove their talents and showcase their talents, but more in the future. And that's all I look forward to. So with that being said, I think that's been an episode of Basketball Rewind, trying to keep these things a little bit shorter. It's not really a lot to talk about unless you really want to talk about the losses. If you want to talk about the losses, you could do so down below in the comments, and I will respond. Till your heart's content. I may not respond to the same degree, but I will respond at least once. So with that being said,
brave man, sir, a brave man.
Hey, I do actually try. Like, comment, subscribe. As I said, leave a comment down below. Share it, of course, or repost or wherever. And it does help the algorithm. We are still trying to grow, and we are actually growing it just, a little bit slower. So yeah, take care, everyone, and peace.